So are you one of those golfers that you get driver in the hand and you really feel like you don't hit the ball as far as you should do, but you get set up, really put as much effort in as you can, but generally you see a shot that's wide, not particularly long at 217 carry and 237 total, but club head speed there nearly 111 mile an hour. Now, I see a lot of golfers who, that's very much their feedback. I put lots and lots into driver, but seem to get very, very little out. So I'm going to show you in today's video how we're going to pick up 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 yards extra off the tee by actually swinging slower with driver and hitting the ball further. So the first mistake I see golfers make is the height they tee the ball. So whenever I'm in the studio, I always use the plastic castle tees. Majority of golfers, I think, go too low with the tee position. Now, once they tee the ball down, I understand why they do it. They do it because very often when they swing, if it's on a high tee, it pops off the top of the club, leaves a horrible mark. So the thinking being, as long as I tee the ball down, I can get the middle of the club face on the golf ball. But the challenge really becomes that the lower the ball, when we swing, we end up moving the lowest point of our swing ahead of the ball, making the club travel down. And if the club's moving down through impact with driver, we're already costing ourselves some distance. So the first thing I would change would be I'd go higher with the tee. Second thing is we need to be finding fairly central on the face so we can transfer the energy correctly from club head to ball. And even though I do think club head speed is a real key ingredient for hitting driver further, generally what you see is when there's a lot of effort in the swing, guys struggle with strike. And the reason you're putting effort in is to hit the ball hard, not because you focused on your swing. So I'm going to try ball higher. I'm going to move the ball a little bit nearer my front foot. Theory being that's going to keep my low point behind and get the club traveling up. So I'm going to swing slower to begin with the little change in tee height and ball position. And I'm going to show you straight away the difference that makes, but we might see the direction be a little bit off here. So I'm going to set up, ball forward, swing slower, and called it. Direction's not fantastic, but 103 mile an hour club head speed. My low point's now moved 5 inches behind. Club's travelled up 3 degrees, and we can see even though I'm 8 mile an hour slower, we're suddenly at 237 carry and 251 total. Now, the big challenge there is obviously my path was very, very slightly left or out to in. And this is really important to understand that when you move the ball position forward in your stance and you get the club travelling up through impact, as the club's travelling up, you can see it's moving more left. So if you're already somebody who fades the ball with a low tee and low point ahead, moving the ball forward can make the shot worse. But we're going to build something into your setup to help you improve path. So once that ball's forward, all we're going to do is we're going to drop that foot, that trail foot back, which is going to allow us to swing on the line of the body, more from the inside, but then as my low point's behind, we should then see the path be a little bit straighter. So ball forward, drag that foot back, and then again, a little bit slower to try and improve the strike. And we can see there, fairly near the middle, a little bit toey, but 6 inches behind. 4 degrees travelling up, path now slightly from the inside. And again, even though we're slower at 104, we're suddenly 244 carry and 275 total. So I would say for most golfers, that pick up of 40 yards total and certainly kind of 25 yards plus on carry is a massive advantage. And if for the time being you feel swinging at that speed, with the little change at setup, feels you can start getting a little bit more consistency in the shots you're hitting, even if that's not been flushed out the middle, So a little bit low off the face, low point still behind, so the club traveling up. Again, from the inside, still a nice solid shot, and 241 and 270 carry. Now, obviously the title of today's video is swing slower and hit driver further, which we've already accomplished. But we have seen, if I've gone from 111 down to 104, 105, it's quite a big drop off. And for me personally, that feels like I'm really taking speed out of my golf swing on purpose. So what I would say is I just never want to see you try to hit the ball hard. I think when you're trying to hit the ball hard, that's where tension creeps into the swing. As we become tense, the muscles shorten. That really affects strike, club face control, path. So all the things we need to hit long, accurate shots, the more tension in the swing, the worse your shots are going to be. So if once you've had, I don't know, maybe a couple of games swinging like that, feel that you can allow yourself just to swing a bit more freely. If you want to think about swinging a little faster, you can, but don't try and hit the ball hard. So you get there, ball position forward, drop that trail foot back, and again, just allow yourself to be a little bit quicker through the ball. So we see the slight change of shape, and it is only marginally quicker at just under 106 miles an hour. Club's travelled up 3 degrees, and suddenly 251 carry and 280 total. Now the key is, everybody talks about trying to hit driver dead straight. It's incredibly difficult to get that club face perfectly square, and you actually have to hit it right out the middle really with a square club face, otherwise toe and heel strikes can change shape. But if you're starting to see a little draw or a little fade, as long as it's consistent, you can change where you aim. And then if you feel from those little tweaks at setup, you're squeezing more yards out, then it's a case of, as you build confidence, swinging with a little bit more speed and seeing what you can generate out of the shot. So again, low on the face, maybe my low point getting too far behind there, but 107 club speed, giving 267 and 286. Now, obviously, as I put speed back in, what we're seeing is further and further. As long as I've controlled strike and delivery, the ball's going to still go where I want. And if you really wanted to, and this absolutely isn't what this video is about, but if you feel you can get the club travelling up with a more centered strike, you can, as a bit of practice, really feel that you go as quick as you can. See what the shots are like. And if I'm getting nearer 108 miles an hour with a fairly centered strike, club traveling up nearly 4 degrees, we see 270 carry, 290 total. And even though, as I've started running through, I've swung slower to hit driver further, if you can then maintain that efficiency and put more energy into the club, as long as you can get that energy from the club into the ball, you're going to start smashing driver, hitting it longer, and honestly, it's a lot more enjoyable from 30, 40 yards further down the fairway.